And the interviews. Let's first of all listen in.
An IT oriented also entity component of IT being in it, I have some leverage to offer for the post. Secondly, I have attained leadership skills because as when I was in charge of the district, I was in charge of the equipment, which is my core mandate, leading the entire workforce within the sub-county under Telkom Kenya then.
Wish you well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I invite Evans Misati to ask some questions.
Thanks so much, Chair. Hussein, from where you sit, what is your understanding of the overall public confidence of the current type?
I can say it's fairly excellent.
The public perception about IEBC?
Public confidence?
Yes.
No, public confidence I can say is 70-30, 70 positive, 30 to the negative.
What do you think are the actions of the previous IEBC that makes the channel Kenya perceive that the public confidence is low?
Thank you, Mr. Msati. Public confidence is something you earn as an institution first. So why Kenyans have poor public confidence in the current IEBC is simply some processes within the election cycle is not clear to Kenyans. Especially the last time where the challenges we had was in the result transmission. So the ICT gadgets used by IEBC might be good, but to the public ear, the information is not with public. Number two, why public confidence is poor is because IEBC, for example, there was a poor voter registration exercise throughout there, which is supposed to be a continuous process. So the registration and the voter education, all these activities were poorly done. Three, there was no proper engagement, stakeholder engagement of IEBC activities with the public. So the public and the IEBC as a commission are not in tandem in terms of the activities they are doing because stakeholder engagement was weak. Thank you.
So if you are given an opportunity and you are a member of the Commission of IEBC.
That has been Abdi Hakim and not Abdi Kadir, as I had mentioned, from Wajir County, being taken through the paces by the selection panel. He is the third candidate of the day. There will be more interviews in the afternoon. About 100 candidates had been selected for the position of IEBC commissioners after the completion of the selection of the IEBC chairperson position. We are keeping tabs with what is happening in South Sea. Later on, we will bring you a more loaded account of what has transpired. Elsewhere, parents of children with a cerebral palsy in the coast region are calling for urgent intervention to address widespread stigma, cultural misconception, and the overwhelming financial burden of raising children with special needs. Mary Nyaboke, a mother of a child with cerebral palsy, highlights the struggles parents faced not only due to stigma but also because of the high cost of care. Expenses such as diapers, special diets, medication and therapy place a heavy financial burden on families. As a result, parents are urging the government to establish more affordable special schools and provide financial support to ease the burden of raising children with cerebral palsy.
When you used to go to school, because you have to pay for tuition for his schooling, then there are therapies. There's speech therapy, there's occupational therapy, and there's physiotherapy included in the fees. So you find that the few schools that are in Mombasa for children with cerebral palsy or autism, they're very expensive to even for you as a parent to be able to pay compared to the other normal schools.
Maisha inabadilika kwa sababu sometimes ukiandika mfanyikazi anakuambia ingekuwa mtoto wa kawaida tungemwangalia, lakini kwa sababu mtoto ako hali hii, mara amempa uji, amenyongwa, unakimbia naye hospitali, mara umeachia jirani anakuambia huyu mtoto wako alafu unapata saa nyingine, yani Mungu mwenyewe anakusaidia tu.
Elsewhere, Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok has backed President William Ruto's mini cabinet reshuffle. Speaking in Chemana, the county chief particularly hailed the posting of Aden Duale to the key health ministry, saying he has a backing of all the 47 governors for the betterment of government development agenda. He urged the new health CS to resolve challenges facing the health sector. We will be bringing you that report in the next couple of minutes, but moving on, the faithfuls are urged to embrace the spirit of apologies. Let me take that again. The minority Nubian community in Kisumu is appealing to the government to hasten the process of subsequent issuance of title deeds, a move they say will end their years of suffering brought about the contentious land pitting them against the Kenya Railway Corporation. The appeal follows a ruling by the appellate court in Kisumu, which confirmed the community as the licensed occupants of the vast contentious land to which the Kenya Railways Corporation is equally laying claim. Wycliffe Okech with the details.
We first visited members of this community here at Kibos in Kisumu back in 2021 when their houses were brought down by a multi-agency of various government institutions at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Their arbitrary eviction from the vast piece of land they have called home since birth cost them what they describe today as inhumane treatment.
Hiyo siku kwanza ilikuwa ni siku ya mvua, alafu stima imekatwa, alafu tear gas inapigwa huku, mapolisi walikuwa wengi, in fact mapolisi walikuwa wengi kushinda wananchi. There's so many, almost 350.
Tulihangaika sana. Hata hivi vile unaona natengeneza mboga, na hii ni mwezi wa Ramadhani, enye mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa landlady. Manyumba zangu zote walibomoa, kila kitu yangu nikabaki bure.
They immediately lodged a case at the court seeking their recognition as the bona fide owners of the over 100 acres of land, as well as compensation for their property damaged during the eviction. The High Court ruled in their favor, but the Kenya Railways Corporation would later appeal the ruling. Fast forward, the Court of Appeal upheld the High Court ruling, further confirming that the Nubian community, which was settled at the contentious land by the colonial government legally.
And that particular appeal went to hearing in the year 2024 and has proceeded. And at the time of me speaking to you today, there is a judgment that has actually confirmed the judgment of, upheld the judgment of the High Court of the Environment and Land Court, indicating that this particular community are still the licensees of that land, and also assisting going forward things such as eviction of people living on public land.
Following the latest landmark determination by the appellate court, they now want the government to hasten the processing of title deeds to cement their ownership of the land to which Kenya Railways Corporation is equally laying claim.
So tunaomba serikali watupatie hati miliki na any development, any services ambayo inafaa tupate kama wa Kenya.
Na tupewe compensation tuishi a fairly decent life. Tutajihesabu kama wa Kenya kwa kawaida.
And while they push for compensation for the damage they suffered following the evictions, the community is at the same time appealing for assistance by well-wishers to help rebuild their lives.
Kama mimi ni mjane, niko na watoto mayatima hapa, niko na school fees, niko na vitu za boarding, nini za college, ninapata tabu sana na saizi vile maisha iko, na nyumba yangu hizo marental zangu ndio ilikuwa inanisaidia.
Hizi manyumba ambayo mnaona hapa imekuwa supported na Haki Jamii na pia na Muslim Association na pia Jamia Mosque ya Nairobi Waislamu.
Despite the troubles that they have had to endure all the while, now the Nubian community here at Kibos believes that once they are compensated and issued with the title deeds, then they will be able to fend for themselves and lead a normal life. Reporting for Channel 1 from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
In other news, learning at Katama Primary School in Mumoni, Mwingi, North Kitui County has been disrupted after strong winds accompanied by heavy rains blew off the roofs of 6 classrooms and teachers' offices. The school's principal, Michael Njue, together with parents, have appealed to the government and local leaders to urgently assist to rebuild the institution. Njue stressed the need for immediate support to ensure learners resume their studies in a safe environment.
Kati tu watoto walikuwa wametoka wakaenda nyumbani, kaanza mvua mkubwa pamoja na upepo strong na ikaharibu shule yetu. Madarasa yote ambayo imeharibiwa ni madarasa 6 pamoja na ofisi 3. Tunauliza tu vile tunaweza kupata usaidizi tuweze kujenga madarasa tena, watoto waweze kusoma vizuri.
Walikuwa wanasema waanze mtihani kesho, na sasa kwa sababu ya shule imeenda yote, sasa hawa watoto watafanya nini? Watafanya mitihani wapi?
Kwa hivyo nauliza tu kwa wale ambao wako na roho safi, ambao wanaweza kutusaidia, wakisikia hii watusaidie.
Let's revisit our earlier story where Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok has backed President William Ruto's mini cabinet reshuffle. Speaking in Chemana, the county chief particularly hailed the posting of Aidan Duale to the key health ministry, saying he has all the backing of all the 47 governors for the betterment of government development agenda. He urged the new health CS to resolve challenges facing the health sector.
And kwa mambo ya health, we have a new minister, na pia tungependa kuhakikishia yeye kuwa tutamsupport, because I know we have a number of challenges kwa mambo ya health. So Duale namkaribisha and we wish him well. Yule pia ambaye amehamishwa kwa mambo ya environment, najua yote ni health. We want to assure her that she has our support, na kwa mawaziri wote wa rais wetu Dr. William Samoei Ruto, they have our support kama Bomet, because lazima washikane na yeye ndio agenda na program ya serikali ipate kufaulu.
Now, the fate of young footballers in Mavoko, Machakos County hangs in the balance following a ruling by the Environment and Land Courts that overturned their access to Sabaki Football Ground, previously designated as a public land. The ruling now recognizes it as a private property. Stakeholders have vowed to appeal the ruling, saying the Sabaki pitch was the only remaining public field in the area following the grabbing of others, including the Liberty Stadium in Mlolongo.
The national government ikiwezekana mwingililia kwa hiyo case kama interested parties, because hawa vijana wanapukuzwa hapa ni vijana wenu, ni vijana wa county, ni vijana wa national government. So ningeomba serikali iingililie hiyo kesi, ihakikishe kwamba hii kiwanja imerudi kwa wananchi na sio hii pamoja na zile zingine zote.
So for 20 years plus, this place was identified as a public utility and a sports ground for this community. How it is changing hands, we don't understand. And that's why we are calling on every authority that is responsible to move in swiftly and put this to an end.
All the way kutoka Kapa, kuteremka mpaka Athi River, hatuna kiwanja ingine yenye imebaki. Wamekuja wakakuwa wanachukua, zinagrabiwa. Hii moja tu peke yake ndio imebaki. Na sasa hii moja imebaki ndio wanataka pia kumalizana nayo. Na sasa tukiangalia inaumiza, kwa sababu kama mimi na deal na watoto wadogo mpaka under 15. Na hao watoto mimi ndio na deal na wao hapa, na pia hiyo academy inafanya kama church, kwa sababu pia I'm still a pastor. Hapo ndio tunawa instill discipline wakifanya kenye wanafanya.
The national government, through the Ministry of Environment, has reaffirmed its commitment to forest conservation under the Plantation Establishment and Livelihood Improvement Scheme program. The Nyandarua County leadership has emphasized the urgent need for reforestation following recent fires that ravaged over 5 acres of forest. The county says it appreciates the critical role of local conservation groups in restoring the damaged areas and achieving Kenya's forest cover.
Sehemu yetu ya misitu tunaita 4P na ilichoma karibu ekari 5, lakini watu walijitokeza kwa wingi na wakasaidia kuzima hiyo moto. So lengo letu ni kuona ya kwamba katika hii msimu ya mvua tuone ya kwamba tumepanda miti sehemu hiyo na pia kuendelea kuhamasisha watu ili wakati wa kiangazi wasiendelee kuweka moto kiholela.
Kajiado County government is set to roll out the One Health Care Approach Strategic Plan of 2025 to 2030, a comprehensive strategy aimed at improving public health by addressing the interconnectedness of human, animal and environmental health. Speaking during a 3-day sensitization workshop for Kajiado County Assembly members, Kajiado County Assembly Speaker Honorable Justus Ngosoro emphasized optimism that the strategic plan would enhance coordination among different departments, ensuring better service delivery for residents. He noted that once implemented, the strategy will help establish sustainable healthcare financing by incorporating health, water, environment, agriculture, and fisheries into a unified framework.
In the recent past, we realized that over 70% of diseases that affect humans basically get transmitted from animals, and some of them include the recent pandemic, that is the COVID-19. So through that approach, we realized that if we are able to ensure the health of the animals and the environment, then we can be able to combat and prevent most of those zoonotic diseases.
We have developed a digital platform. This digital platform enables the specialists in those 3 areas to work collaboratively. And apart from that, it enables reporting of incidences, collaborative work between specialists in health, in human health, specialists in animal health, and specialists in environment, working with the communities.
To the heavy rains now, the Kenya Red Cross Society, through the funding of the British Red Cross, has initiated a flood recovery project targeting hundreds of farmers affected by the El Nino floods, in 2023 in Kilifi and Tana River counties. The projects, done in partnership with the local governments, included water and sanitation programs, supporting farmers with climate-smart seeds that take a short period to mature for farmers to sell and for personal consumption. The Kenya Red Cross Society Emergency Response Manager Anthony Moshiri said the project has been a success, with a section of farmers earning a living from harvest sales.
Kilifi, as the county, has been experiencing cyclic disasters from drought and floods. And the past 1 year, we've had 2 seasons, that is October, November, December, and the March, April, May, experiencing floods. And through these floods, we've seen almost 5,000 of acres being washed away for the farmers.
We were able to provide different types of seeds which were technically approved by the agricultural extension officers, and we've seen great outcomes in terms of the harvest.
Ndio hii sehemu ambayo niliweza kulima pojo, na kuna sehemu nyingine ambayo iko kule chini niliweza kulima mahindi na yaliweza kufanya vizuri. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru sana shirika hili la Kenya Red Cross.
Tunapata kuna lishe nzuri kwa sababu upande wa pojo familia sasa wanasherehekea kwamba chakula kiko cha kutosha na proteins wanapata vizuri.
Zamani watu walikuwa wakienda kufua mtoni. Ilikuwa ni hatari kubwa, maana kule kuna mamba, walikuwa kibakwa na mamamba. Sasa hii tunashukuru mradi huu wa maji, tunashukuru sana.
And communities living in the Bony forest, Lamu County, have received relief food aid from the Kenya Ports Authority after severe food shortages caused by the prolonged drought. The Lamu Port manager, Vincent Sidai, stated that relief food will provide critical support to families observing the holy month of Ramadan, a period of fasting and prayer for Muslims. However, local leaders from the area urged the government to address the water scarcity experienced in the region.
Tunaangazia kushirikiana nao zaidi ya hapa. Hii port itakapoanza kufanya kazi kabisa, ile sasa imeshika kabisa kazi, of course tutaanza kuajiri wafanyikazi hapa. Tukianza kuajiri lazima tuangalie pia kuna basuba ambao, kwa sababu basuba pia wako na vijana na wasichana ambao wamesoma.
Tunaomba serikali itukalishe, itumakinishe. Kivipi? Wachukue a huge project, watengeneze water project badala movement ya water tracking nini, waende watengeneze. Kuna mtu wa Mangai pale, wachimbe kisima kisawasawa, waweke overhead tank. That is the only permanent solution ya kuzuia na mambo na ugaidi.
Stakeholders in the tourism sector have launched a campaign in an effort to boost domestic tourism ahead of Easter holiday festivities. At a 3-day event in Westlands, Nairobi, the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Association of Travel Agents, Nikarkor Sabula, stated the tourism industry has achieved significant success this year and is looking forward to welcoming many families during the Easter holidays.
We are glad to be partnering with the Sarit Center Expo to bring the 2025 holidays fair happening at the Sarit Expo, the Sarit Center Expo. Now this fair is coming at a time, very, very important time when we are looking forward to the Easter holiday. So we thought that it would be a good opportunity for Kenyans to come out in huge numbers and find deals, whether they are hotel deals down at the coast or in our safari circuit, but also in any other parts of the country. This will be the time to be able to do that.
Elsewhere, dozens of families in Kochia Ward, Rangwe sub-county have been left homeless after a violent windstorm struck several villages last night. The devastating storm, accompanied by torrential rains, tore through the villages of Nyarut, Kombogo and Lower Koili, leaving a trail of destruction. The affected families are now appealing for urgent assistance from humanitarian organizations and the State Department of Disaster Management. Meanwhile, authorities have urged residents to remain cautious as heavy rains continue to pound the region.
It's affected several homes, around 17 homesteads that are affected, and 3 churches in this area. So I'm appealing to well-wishers and the government to come to our rescue.
Sasa hiyo pepo ilikuwa imeenda na nyumba, chakula ni baridi kwa sababu mvua ilikuwa mingi. Nyumba kuna, mabati hakuna, sasa sijui hata iko wapi. Upepo inaenda mpaka na barangeti zote, chakula, unga ni baridi, vyombo hakuna, upepo ameenda nayo mpaka sufuria, hakuna kitu ya kupika leo.
Now, the Council of Elders in Kajiado County has condemned Narok Senator Ledama Olekina's move to hold a mega rally in some parts of Kajiado, terming it a threat to peace and security. Speaking in Kajiado, the elders read an ill motive in Ledama's stand of not involving relevant authorities in his move. Senator Ledama has stated the mega rally for the 3rd of April at Sajiloni, Kajiado Central.
The only person who could speak on behalf of ODM or Azimio for that matter is only Raila, not Ledama. Not Ledama. He cannot. He cannot. And I repeat that 10 times. He cannot purport to gather masses.
Aende Narok mahali amechaguliwa. Lakini awache uchokozi
na mimi narudia nimwambie Raila asuie, yeye ni mtu yake, sisi ni watu ODM na hatutaingia matatu ingine. Raila amelipa tikiti, tumeingia basi, tumeenda State House.
Sisi ni wapenda amani, tunajua ile chama ilitulete kwa governor na tumetosheka. Tunajua senator alikuja na chama gani kwa senator, tunajua ma MCS walikuja na vyama gani katika MCS, na tumetosheka.
The government is partnering with Full Care Kenya Medical Special Economic Zone Limited, a Chinese firm based at Tatu City in Kiambu County, to explore training and employment opportunities for TVET graduates. The firm, premised at Tatu City Special Economic Zone, can produce approximately 30 million medical apparel items per year, employing more than 1,000 locally sourced staff. Speaking during a visit to the farm, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Technical, Vocation, Education and Training, TVET, Esther Moria, said the collaboration between the State Department for TVET and Full Care Kenya Limited seeks to explore available training and employment opportunities for TVET fashion and design graduates.
This is a space that is going to be our industry, where we will probably be able to agree with one another how long our young people are going to be trained in our institutions before they come here for the training in industry. As a State Department, we are helping the government to be able to identify industries and the spaces where our young people are going to be engaged in the industries for work.
They are focusing on the sewing and fashion design specializations also, but I think those with the certificate or diplomas are okay. But others will have to, in the quality control, so they need to have some kind of diploma in chemistry or microbiology.
Now, a study conducted by the Institute of Social Accountability, TISA, has revealed that 60% of Kenyans still prioritize ethnic loyalty over accountability. A report of the study, which was conducted in 15 counties in last year, further reveals that a majority of citizens believe that change is still possible in the country despite existing integrity gaps. Accountability remains a key pillar of good governance, but how do cultural and psychological factors influence how citizens hold leaders to account? This is the key question that the Institute for Social Accountability, TISA, sought to answer in its latest study launched in Nairobi on Wednesday. The report of the survey, dubbed Living Accountability, the Cultural Roots of Governance and Utu in Kenya, revealed that 60% of Kenyans still prioritize ethnic loyalty over accountability. Further, the report disclosed that 83% of the citizenry have normalized bribery in daily life.
Accountability remains a key pillar of good governance, but how do cultural and psychological factors influence how citizens hold leaders to account? This is the key question that the Institute of Social Accountability, TISA, sought to answer in its latest study launched in Nairobi on Wednesday. The report of the survey, dubbed Living Accountability, the Cultural Roots of Governance and Utu in Kenya, revealed that 60% of Kenyans still prioritize ethnic loyalty over accountability. Further, the report disclosed that 83% of the citizenry have normalized bribery in daily life.
Accountability will live on. You cannot kill or silence it, so it is to government, be on the lookout. Accountability is coming, it is growing. To Kenyans, do not lose hope, because all the milestones we have made is because of social accountability.
The study also highlighted the psychological barriers to social accountability, including fear of victimization, political disillusionment, and lack of access to accurate information, with experts calling for civic education programs to bridge these gaps.
Respondents wengi karibu asilimia 80 na kitu walisema kulingana na zile national values tuko nazo katika article 10 of our constitution, walisema hiyo ndio muhimu zaidi. Hizi zingine zinafuata, kwa sababu bila integrity hakutakuwa na transparency, hakutakuwa na accountability, public participation itakuwa tu inachukuliwa tu kwa kimzaha.
The findings of the report are expected to offer fresh solutions for enhancing transparency and fostering national values.
Social accountability is cordial when you have a listening and caring leadership. It is brutal. It is brutal when the governance is not listening. And
Nyamira Governor Amos Nyaribo is on the spot over the alleged mismanagement of 5.85 billion shillings. The governor, who appeared before the Senate Committee Public Accounts Committee, told senators that confusion over a divided assembly is partly to blame for derailed queries, just 3 days before the statutory audit deadline. Senators are now proposing an investigation into the usage of funds in the county after the Auditor General revealed massive misuse of funds in the county.
Is facing mounting pressure as questions over the use of 5.8 billion shillings remain unanswered. Appearing before the Senate County Public Accounts Committee, the governor argued that divisions within the county assembly have created confusions on which faction he should recognize, hence derailing the audit oversight role.
Nyamira County is in the news for very, very, very bad reasons, extremely bad reasons. This is an addition to those bad news coming from Nyamira. Something must be done.
The courts pronounced with the legal clerk and the legal speaker, we were a bit divided. So it's a bit tricky.
But senators could not buy that explanation, accusing the governor of deliberately evading accountability and warned that the county is on the brink of financial crisis.
Governor, is there something you're hiding you don't want the auditors to see on the expenditure of money from the county of Nyamira?
Senators also questioned why the county executive was quick to present budget proposals but reluctant to account on how funds have been used.
You wanted your supplementary budget done, you chose to take it to one faction. If you are receiving correspondences from both factions, why didn't you elect the one that would take the responses of this audit report too?
I think he's too much involved in county assembly affairs. What is your interest?
There were two functions.
You can take your supplementaries to the assembly, but you cannot receive invitations to the assembly.
The invitations, when the invitations were being made, there was confusion as who is the legal speaker because there were two speakers.
These as MCAs raised fresh concerns, alleging that an illegal supplementary budget has been passed outside the Assembly's official structure, with key operations now being run by an impeached speaker.
Whenever, from the County Government Act, whenever a machinery is supposed to be, there must be a motion in the Assembly allowing it to be done. Now, even if you do cassette notices or what, if there is no motion from the House, then it's not unvoid. Because it is the members to agree that we are supposed to go out. I'm sure even the Senate, that's what they do, that they get the motion first, then they do the cassetting. So in this case, we have never done any motion to this.
But with the statutory audit deadline under Article 229 of the Constitution just days away, the committee chair Moses Kajwang said the Senate will be considering tough measures, including a deeper investigation into the county's spending.
And very well, that report by Gladys Mungai takes us to our first break. But when we come back, we have more news and also we have an interactive segment. When we come back, I'll be engaging the country manager for Watu Africa. We'll be talking about growth of pay-go sector in Kenya. More of that after the break.
tumsikize Sheikh Danun ili aweze kutufahamisha kuhusiana na kisa hiki na mengine mengi ambayo yanafungamana na jinsi ya kuchuma mazao ya mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhani.
Kwa sababu dini yetu hii ni dini ya kukumbushana. Kwa hiyo tunapokumbushana tuhakikishe tunakumbuka huu ukumbusho na tuwe wenye kufanyia kazi haya maamrisho yanayotoka kwa Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala na kadhalika.
Inafaa mletoe pasta awaombe mutakaswe au mwage maji ya baraka nuksi ziishe.
Jackie, sisi enemies wetu tunawajua.
Well, try me. Just keep off. Then wacha mimi na mzee wetu sote mambo yetu kando.
Jackie, can you be trusted? Na wewe na Alex mmekuwa
Vijana wangu.
Harusi tunayo, hatuna magazine.
Wewe unajua nafurahia hapa na hata jani proposea bado.
Maxine Yolanda. Will you marry me? Jackie. We only have 1 week.
Mtu ana blackmailiwa kozie ni accomplice wa mada. Hana hata pesa kupeana. Sasa anataka kulipa mali.
That's why I'm telling you, tafuta dema kuna ganji bana.
Time for business. HF Group has posted 524.7 million shillings in full-year net profit, representing a 35.2% increase. The profit was mainly powered by an 18.5% increase in interest income on loans and advances to 4.8 billion shillings. Despite the increased profit, HF Group has not recommended any dividend payout.
HF Group disbursed 38.9 billion shillings in loans and advances to customers in 2024, representing an increase of 74 million shillings on what was loaned out in 2023. This is perhaps due to a 10.6% increase in non-performing loans that rose to 11.96 billion shillings, which saw the listed financial marginally increasing the loan loss provision to 5.2 billion shillings. Overall, from the disbursed loans and advances, HF Group earned 4.8 billion in interest income, which in addition to earnings from investment in government securities, pushed total interest income up 23.1% to 6.4 billion shillings. The financial booked 1.5 billion shillings in total non-interest income that were mainly from fees and commissions. On the other hand, operating expenses rose 7% to 3.7 billion shillings, mainly on account of higher staff costs. During the year, staff costs increased 16.6% to 1.9 billion shillings. Other notable figures in the financial statement is core capital that increased more than 4 times to 8.7 billion shillings. These helped push the financiers' liquidity ratio to 41.8%, up from 24.5% in 2023. In addition, the capital injection helped HF Group comply with a number of minimum statutory ratio requirements, such as core capital to total deposit liabilities, core capital to total risk-weighted assets, and total capital to total risk-weighted assets. Frederick Mwoki for Lunchtime News.
At least 30,000 coffee farmers in Kenya are set to earn a premium for their produce after gaining coffee traceability skills under a 420 million shillings project by the Italian government. The 3-year project targets coffee farmers from 7 counties who are also trained on sustainable farming practices.
Unavailable traceability mechanisms and obsolete coffee production practices have negatively affected what farmers earn in the international market. As such, the Arabica project targets to address these emerging challenges.
The Arabica has achieved significant results
Just to mention one, the creation of 7 new Kenya coffee brands, one for each participating county. This represents a strategic step towards giving Kenya coffee a strong and distinctive identity.
During the 3-year period, the 420 million shillings project helps to map 30,481 coffee growers, a move that enhanced traceability of their produce, leading to increased earnings from about 65 shillings per kilo to 85 shillings per kilogram.
So this project has also been very, very good because the farmers now, as they market their coffee, as they create visibility for their own cooperatives and their own coffee, they have also had moments where they have tested their own coffee.
The Arabica project supported the enhancement of coffee quality assessment at farm and cooperative levels, strengthened coffee capping and quality control capacity. In addition, it deepened adoption of climate-smart and sustainable farming practices and improved quality processing while conserving resources like water, labor, and electricity.
We distributed to the farmers, we equipped actually 7 laboratories for coffee cupping, 1 per county, either with the county government or with the union of cooperatives. And we distributed 7 eco-pulpers, 1 per county again, which are processing machines which are environmentally friendly.
The project, which was implemented in collaboration with the Coffee Research Institute, targeted farmers in the counties of Bungoma, Machakos, Embu, Meru, Nyeri, Murang'a, and Kiambu.
Senators are calling for talks between Kenya and Sudan to resolve a ban on export of Kenyan tea to the northeastern African country. Senate Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism Chair Issa Juma Boy says Sudan imports about 10% of Kenyan tea, making it the 3rd largest market for the Kenyan produce. He says the impasse with Sudan may occasion a pileup of unsold produce at the Mombasa tea auction.
Chai nyingi ilikuwa ikaenda Sudan. Sasa hii Sudan wamewekwa vikwazo kwamba chai haiendi kule. Lakini pia tumezungumza na tumekaa chini kama kamati, tutazungumza na pia katika wiki ijayo tutakaa kama kamati tuweze kufanya kama ni statement, tuweze kuuliza waziri namna gani tuweza kufungua hii njia na zile chai ambazo zimebakia, kwa sababu kuna chai nyingi ambazo kwa zimenunuliwa ziko kwenye bahari haziwezi kuingia Sudan. Kuna chai nyingine ambazo zimenunuliwa ziko kwenye auction hapo ambazo haziwezi kutoka.
Ingawa sisi ni nchi ambayo tunasalisha chai nyingi, chai yetu nyingi tunauza ikiwa bulk without value addition. Zile nchi zingine kama India, China na Pakistan, Sri Lanka na wengine wanafanya karibu 50% ya chai yao wanaifanyia value addition.
Very well, now we are on our interactive segment, and as mentioned earlier, we are looking at the growth of pay-go sector in Kenya. We have Eric Masawe, who is the country director, Watu Africa. Eric, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
And for the interest of our viewers, what exactly is pay-go?
Yes, pay-go is a business model that allows customers to access different financing solutions and pay slowly over time. And pay-go can also be interpreted as a model that is enabled by technology so that customers can actually collateralize on the asset and then they pay as they go. A common example of that is the phone financing, whereby customers can purchase a smart connected device, and then this device is locked and unlocked, and the unlocking mechanism is linked with how they pay, and usually this payment is enabled via mobile money. So you pay, you unlock, and then you use the device, so it is self-collateralization of the asset. And this is a very innovative solution that unlocks financing for the majority of the community members who are excluded from formal financing solutions.
Are we talking about mobile phones alone? Because I've seen the same, you're doing the same for border borders.
Yes, so with smartphones, this is enabled by technology. So basically, you collateralize the asset by locking and unlocking, and you integrate that with mobile money solutions. But also, it is applicable for every other things. Now, you know, we have different players in different industries. On the mobility side, it's not enabled by technology because you cannot lock and unlock. But potentially, with the growing penetration of electric mobility, finally that will come, and this is the new trend. This is the new asset financing trend, and it is a phenomenon that is happening as we speak, and the impact is quite impressive because we basically allowing people who don't have collaterals or who don't have you know, a credit history with formal financing institutions, and finally now they can actually access financing because of this model.
How does the model work? The criteria for exactly, if, for example, a person like me, if I want any services that you guys are offering, what is the criteria? Because you've mentioned that you're targeting people who are not in the form of borrowing means, or who are not recognized by other banks and financial institutions.
Yes, so we do have a variety of players, and there's a bit of a difference in terms of the eligibility and models that they're using. But I'll give an example. For example, at Watu Credit, what we do, it is actually a trust-based system where we basically collect a very basic KYC information, so that we can actually identify our customer, we can identify you, we can verify that you're legit, and from there, we allow now the technology to take over the asset in terms of collateralizing that asset. So if you are taking a smartphone from us, we will basically collect KYC information, and then you will be informed about our loan terms and conditions, and once you agree, then we will pass over the asset to you, and you will start to use and lock and unlock by paying, you know, either daily, weekly, or monthly. And it is working more or less like a post-pay arrangement, where, I mean, a prepay arrangement where you pay, you unlock the device, you don't pay, the device is locked. So that is a motivation for you to make another payment. And all of this is enabled by technology, so there's no human interactions as you go through that.
And looking at Kenya, for example, in the last, because you are a number of African countries, Kenya in the last couple of years, that trend has been on the rise. What is bringing these trends to very high rates? Is it the absorption of technology?
Yes, it's both absorption of the technology, but this also is telling us that the market product fit is there, which means there's high demand and these solutions were not available in the market. And this is also a testament that majority of the people are excluded on the form of financing. So now we have a solution. This is what is driving growth. And this growth is natural and organic for all the players, not only us. And we do believe this is because this is a much needed service that never existed before.
And how deep have you penetrated the Kenyan market?
So as Watu Credit, we are operational across the entire country. We're operating in every corner of the country. And this is largely driven by our distribution strategy, because what we are doing, we're actually working with local businesses. And this really falls very well to our overall corporate mission to empower entrepreneurs. So our partners on the distribution are normal entrepreneurs. We empower them with technology, and then they help us to take the product. So it is available across the country.
And as we wind up, who are the main stakeholders, and how do you balance their interest for effective engagement?
So we have a really wide basket of key stakeholders. Yeah, of course, the number one, our customers and the communities that we serve. We have our business partners. We have government authorities. We have security arms of the government, because this is cutting across so many different aspects of our social and economic aspects in the country. So we do have all of these key stakeholders. And I would say a challenge that we have right now, and it was partly addressed by the business law changes last year, is that there is no a very clear set infrastructure, for example, having a dedicated parastatal that would coordinate everybody who is a player within the sector, and therefore have a cross-cutting platform for every key stakeholder, and then defining now the policies and guidelines and the rules on how these key stakeholders will engage and push this industry forward.
And because of interest of time, we kindly 20 seconds for your closing statements.
Yeah, I think we are in such a very exciting time where a combination of technology, innovation, and really creative business models would allow to open up financing for people who would otherwise not be able to access, and that speaks largely to the impact that has happened and is yet to come. So this is quite promising, and I am really, really excited to be part of that journey.
Thank you so much, Eric Masawe, who is the country manager for Watu Credit, operating in 8 countries. We are looking at the growth of pay-go sector in Kenya, and especially to ensure that we are also growing the credit sector, especially for those who can't access conventional loans. Moving on, a major move that could escalate global trade tensions. US President Donald Trump has announced new import taxes on cars and auto parts entering the United States. The 25% tariffs are set to take effect on April the 2nd, with duties on imported vehicles beginning the following day. Additional charges on car parts are expected to roll out in May. The president says the move will spark tremendous growth in the US car industry, pledging more jobs and increased investment in America.
House of Representatives says the move aims to boost domestic manufacturing to create jobs. However, experts warn it could lead to higher car prices, temporary factory shutdown, and strained relations with key trade partners. While parts of Canada and Mexico are temporarily exempt, the broader impact on global supply chains could be significant. The auto market reacted sharply, with General Motors shares falling 3% and other manufacturing also sliding. Japan, a major car exporter, says it's weighing all options in response. Meanwhile, India's slowing private investment is raising concerns about long-term growth. Private sector spending has dropped to a 10-year low despite making up a key part of the economy. Gross fixed capital formation counts for nearly 30% of GDP, with GDP growth expected to slow to 6.5% this year, down from 9.2% last year. Experts warn that reviving private investment is essential. Exports, consumption, and global conditions, including US tariffs, are all adding pressure. According to the World Bank, India must grow at 7.8% annually to achieve high income status by 2047. To get there, investment levels, both public and private, need to rise to 40% of GDP, up from 33% today. Finally, in the UK, taxes may need to rise in autumn despite recent welfare cuts and spending reduction in the spring statement. Chancellor Rachel Reeves is on track to meet her borrowing rules, but rising global uncertainty, driven in part by US tariffs, could threaten the outlook. With growth now forecast at just 1% this year, down from 2%, economists warn there is little room left to cut spending or increase borrowing. That means households could face tax hikes later this year, despite earlier promises to avoid them. Sylvie Gatti reporting for Lunchtime News.
In sports, Kenya increased its medal tally to 4 at the ongoing World Masters Athletics Indoor Championships in Alachua, County, Gainesville, Florida, when Regina Mulathia bagged a silver in the long jump W45 category event with a leap of 5.24 meters. The gold medal went to Melissa Foster from Australia, while Olutoyin Augustus of Nigeria won the bronze. Kenya's quest for more medals continues today, with Daniel Kimeli Tanui taking part in the discus throws M60 category, while the sprint duo of Elizabeth Mavoko and Millicent Ndoro will be battling it out in the 200 meters M50 and M35 respectively. Shot putter Peter Kamau Mwangi won Kenya's first gold medal at the Games with a throw of 14.79 meters, while Francis Kipkoech won gold in the men's 3,000 meters as Ibrahim Makonjo Muya clinched silver in the 60-meter dash. The World Athletics Masters Indoor Championship, which comes to a close on Sunday, has attracted 4,000 participants drawn from 80 countries. The Sunshine Golf Tour has been launched in Kenya, with the qualifying events as scheduled for the 30th of March to 2nd of April this year at the Windsor Golf and Country Club. The qualifying event will be held over the 4 days, with prize money of 1 million shillings being set aside for the winners. The top 10 players after the qualifying event will land invitation to the tournament's final qualifiers, scheduled from the 8th to 11th of April in Johannesburg, South Africa. The tournament offers professional golfers and elite amateurs, both men and women, a chance to play regular competitive golf tournaments organized in line with Sunshine Tour standards. The tour will include 10 to 15 events annually and will deliver official world golf ranking points, which are crucial for player advancement, providing local professional golfers with a genuine merit-based pathways into global golf. Further afield, Arsenal completed a brilliant 2-goal comeback to reach the UEFA Women's Champions League semi-finals after beating Real. Arsenal ladies beat Real Madrid. Just a reminder is that on the men's side, Champions League, Arsenal also face Real Madrid. Will they do the same? Well, that's why we put a cap on KBC Lunchtime News this afternoon. Many thanks indeed for joining us. More news in our subsequent bulletin. My name is Njue. Anwangeshi has been our sign language interpreter. On behalf of everyone who has made this broadcast a success, I wish you a brilliant afternoon ahead.
From the bliss of new beginnings to the trials of commitment, this is a celebration of resilience, passion, and the power of togetherness. Join us as we unravel real-life stories, because every journey deserves to be cherished, for better, for worse. On KBC Channel 1.